FORA.tv. The world is thinking.
We've had a number of questions that refer to sort of cutting through the fog of the campaign. How do we get to the truth? How do we get past the sensationalism? How does the voter sift through the noise created by talking heads, blogs, etc., and get to the truth? How does a voter in 2008 find the genuine? Give us some tips. Do you have any advice for voters on how to cut through all the fog and figure out what's really going on?
Joe?
Don't listen to me. Honestly, I get asked that question a lot, and I'm interested in your take on this as well. But my honest answer is that I advocate that people be as critical in their consumption of political news or political events or political information as you are about your diet or other things, your health. You know, we've all been, I think, acculturated at this point to know that if we're eating at McDonald's every day, we're probably going to die before we're 60 or something like that. Or if we smoke cigarettes, that's not going to be good for us. And we're careful about that. And so, for example, with respect to diet, you know that you can have McDonald's maybe once a year, but you should really have other types of things in your diet that are better for you. And by comparison, if the only way that you get your information about a political campaign is by watching television news, you're only going to get one perspective, especially if you only watch one network or one station or listen to one person, Bill O'Reilly or somebody like that, right? There's nothing wrong with listening to Bill O'Reilly. I would temper that by reading the Wall Street Journal and then tempering that with the New York Times or the San Francisco Chronicle, and perhaps read a blog online and listen to NPR. I mean, a multiplicity of sources. Here's the thing. If you find that all of your sources are basically telling you the same thing, then the chances are that's probably right. What they're saying is true. If you're getting a wide variety of opinions about the same thing, then that's probably something you're going to have to think a little bit about. The problem is, in this country and in this culture, and in spite of the fact we talked about the internet, television is still the big dog. More people get their information from television, political information, than from any other source. Primarily television news, but in the campaign, sometimes the advertising too, which is sandwiched around that same news broadcast. And this is where we've talked about the blame you could point for political communications at candidates, for parties, at the news, but this is really where it comes back to voters. If you want to do better, then you have to be better consumers, frankly, of this information, because the responsibility ultimately for voting is with you.
I would also go to the candidates' websites, because very often their positions on issues are clearly articulated. Parties have platforms. They're articulated on our websites so that people can understand where we stand as a party specifically on a specific issue. The other way to get that message across also is also changing with generations. With young people getting their information more from YouTube or Facebook or MySpace or whatever, in some cases Craigslist. But the information gauntlet out there is so diverse now that has ever been the case. I get up in the morning and I have to, if I'm going to be prepared for the day to take interviews or take questions, I have to read, at least on the internet I do, at least 4 or 5, maybe 10 newspapers in terms of clippings. The party on our end, I have a research assistant that goes through in Sacramento all the clippings nationally so that I know what candidates are saying in different states so that I can respond in case there's going to be some kind of response. Many of you may not have access to that much information, but you can gain a lot of it on the internet and a lot of it just reading your local newspaper. And as well as many of these cable shows, although they're screaming and yelling and confrontation, et cetera, sometimes they actually try to provide good information. CNNpolitics.com. I just realized you're the timer. I'm sorry. I'll speak faster. Politics.com. CNNpolitics.com has a good website, too, for gaining information. That's where I go to find out just where the delegate count is, for example, today, or where the primary votes are happening in a particular area, or what other statements have been saying. I'm done.
By the way, that's why I think the numbers are going down that he's holding. It's just,
he wasn't rating your answers.
Let me add one other element here, and that I think is really important, and that is that I'll bet that for 95% of you in the audience, the political process is actually far more open than you realize it is. And by that I mean that your local Democratic Party, your local Republican Party, I'll bet that if you went to one of their meetings, you would find the political process far more open than you might think. When I became chairman of the Republican Party of San Diego County in July of 2001, I had lived in the state continuously for a grand total of 18 months. At that particular point in time, and I went to, when I came in as party chairman, there was kind of this atmosphere in the party that your meetings consisted of the first half of the meeting arguing over who we should throw out of the party, and the second half of the meeting arguing over why we can't get to a majority. Okay, that's kind of tough. But that's not the attitude of a winning political party. The attitude of a winning political party is we want more people to come in. And in San Diego County, where I live, we have 864 elected offices in San Diego County. We're looking for candidates all the time. We're looking for Republicans to come in. You're interested in running for office? That's fantastic. Let's see if we can get you into an appointed office. What's your expertise? How would you like to be involved? Would you like to be a donor? Would you like to be a volunteer? We're constantly looking for more and more people to bring into the process. My successor as county Republican chairman in San Diego is a man by the name of Tony Kravarik. He's been an American citizen for less than 2 years. He's lived in San Diego for about the same amount of time that I have. I'm 37 years old. I'm the youngest chairman, we were told, in the history of the California Republican Party. My parents were 2 German immigrants who emigrated in 1960 and had a 10th grade education. The political process is more open than you may realize, but what it takes is to actually do something that most people choose not to do, which is to find where your local political party, whichever political party you're in, find a meeting of that political party, show up and say, I'm a member of the party and I want to help and I want to participate. And that changes politics in a way that really all of this other talk in the media can never do.